Thank you, May. Thank you, Hala and Wael. So I will focus on Djibouti port facilities. Djibouti is a very small country located at the northeast of the Horn of Africa. I said it is small because it is only 1 million inhabitants and the size is around 23,000 square meters. But Djibouti location is very strategic and the Djibouti ports are very developed in this region. Djibouti port authorities took advantage of first the Ethiopian-Eritrean war that led Ethiopia to channel most of its imports and exports via Djibouti. So actually 80% of Ethiopian transit passes through Djibouti. Second, it took advantage of urbanization and infrastructure development that has transformed Ethiopia's economy in the last 2 decades, prompting significant trade flows and demand for the expansion of Djiboutian ports. Third, it took advantage of the war against terrorism. So after 9/11, Djibouti became a logistical hub for the United States Army and other allied military operations in East Africa. French Army, Spain, Italy, and now China. Fourth, it took advantage of the war against piracy. So Djibouti hosted and hosts naval missions from the USA, Europe, Atalanta, Japan, China, Spain, Italy, and Djibouti became a center for anti-piracy operation in the Gulf of Aden and in the Indian Ocean in order to secure the world maritime trade. So Djibouti is now a logistical hub for trade and military flows in East Africa. So, sorry. A few years ago, DP World was involved into Djibouti port facilities. Because with the return of Ethiopian transit after the war with Eritrea, Djibouti port facilities needed upgrading and modernization, so DP World brought the needed investment. In 2000, Djiboutian government signed a management agreement with DP World to manage and upgrade Djibouti port facilities, and it was a win-win partnership that provide to Djibouti the needed investment and for DP World a stepping stone for its expansion into the Horn of Africa. The benefit of this involvement was, so for DP World, Djibouti was a nodal hub in its global network of container transshipment, allowing trade from Asia to Europe to avoid the costly detour through Jebel Ali port. The partnership led for Djibouti to the construction of Horizon Oil Terminal at Dorale, also at the expansion of Djibouti free zone, following the model of Jebel Ali free zone. And in 2009, DP World entered a joint venture with the state-owned Port of Djibouti Authority and invest $400 million into the development of a container terminal in Dorale, the only deep water port in the region. So, but in 2018, Djibouti unilaterally terminated the concession guaranteed to DP World. For this, multiple reasons were identified. Djibouti authorities have reacted to increasingly restrictive conditions imposed by DP World, and that Djibouti was prohibited to establish new ports in its territory unless they were managed by DP World. So at the same time, Djibouti entered into a new partnership with China. And in 2012, in 2013, Djibouti sold it 23.5 of its 66.6% share in Dorala terminal to China Merchant Holding. And this decision did not sit well with DP World. In 2017, China founded and built the multipurpose port of Dorale, a very modern and developed port. And also this escalates the conflict with DP World. On February 2018, the Djibouti government terminated the contract with DP World through a presidential decree and took over all assets at the port and nationalized it in September 2018. DP World was not very happy with this decision, so it has taken the issue to the international arbitration. The rulings were in favor of DP World, but they were rejected by Djibouti. After that, after the end of the partnership with DP World, Djibouti is now in search of a new role model because Djibouti authorities have promised to transform the city and the country into the lighthouse of the Red Sea by 2035. The last port, the Chinese port, DMP, Dorale Multipurpose Port, has received $580 million investment, and among it was for 12 giant gantry cranes which were deployed on a new 1,200 square meter dock. The DMP, this port, is capable of handling ship carrying up to 15,000 containers and of processing 9 million tons of cargo per year. DMP is considered one of the most efficient deep water ports, 18 meters in the world, and its performance is linked to the railway line that connects the port with the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa. Also, China founded and built a new trade zone, which is hosting now around 30 foreigner companies. Djibouti also built other ports in the country. So Djibouti had created economic growth with this port development facilities, and since 2000, its annual economic growth is between 4 and 5.5%, but Djibouti at the same time has some challenges despite of this economic growth. It is facing high unemployment and inequalities and poverty because the tertiary sector that was developed is creating more growth than jobs, and the industrial and agriculture sectors are not very developed. So the impact of the port on the country.
Amina, you've got half a minute.
Half a minute.
30.
Okay.
Yes, 30
so
seconds.
Ethiopia is contributing $1 billion annually to Djibouti GDP, and now Djibouti is facing regional competition supported by DP World, who is developing Berbera Port and Bosaso Port, but Djibouti has a long lead over other regional ports in the region because Djibouti has several ports and very developed ports in the region. Thank you. I will stop there.